Welcome back, friends, to Death Before Booze. I'm Sam.
I'm Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Sam.
And here we are again for another fun episode. I don't think we have any housekeeping. Monday, so yesterday when we record this.
Missing Monthly went out.
Missing
so
Monthly's
that's good.
out, so go listen to
Definitely
that.
Share that one too, guys, because,
That's a big one. They're
Big.
Let's try and get it solved because they deserve it. That's how I feel about it. Oh, boy. Something's going on.
Riggs is excited for
us to solve a murder.
Because this week, our topic is conspiracies.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about it too. So I get it. He's excited.
Oh my gosh. All right, so let's jump in. Jen, tell me a story.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you the story of the mysterious death of Gino Hernandez. So I'm diving back into wrestling because, that's what I do.
Makes sense.
So Charles Eugene Wolf Jr. was born August 1957 to Patrice and Charles in Texas. His parents divorced when he was young, and Charles ended up adopting the name Gino Hernandez as his wrestling persona.
Got it.
Because his stepfather, Luis Hernandez, trained him. So it makes sense that he threw the Hernandez on the end and it was like, oh, Eugene, Gino. I get where he got it from.
Yeah.
Although sometimes we're like, where the hell? Like the last week we were like, where the hell did he get this name from?
Yeah.
Like, no idea. But so we're just going to do a recap of his early career. So as a rookie, he wrestled in big time wrestling in Detroit. He was a baby face and he really got over because he had good looks. So a lot of the female fans were very much like, oh my God, Gino. Gino.
Oh my gosh.
So he called himself also Gorgeous Gino Hernandez. So
wow, he was really humble, huh?
Then he turned heel and he took this persona very seriously to the point where he was in and out of the ring. This was like when you saw him on the street, he turned into the heel. But his family members all said like he took it very seriously, but like in his private life, he was still like a great guy. It's just on the street, he was like, oh, I'm Gino, I'm Gorgeous Gino Hernandez, blah, 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 blah.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
So in 1975, he started wrestling in San Antonio. Wrestling in the territory for Southwest Championship Wrestling. In the 80s, he moved to World Class Championship Wrestling, where he started a feud with David Von Erich.
Ooh, I remember that name.
Talked about before.
Yeah.
And he continued to wrestle for this organization where he found he was feuding with the Von Erichs as a tag team. And then he got into tag teams with Jake the Snake Roberts, which that's going to be another episode that I'm going to have to go through because that guy's got a fucked up backstory.
Drama.
And he even had a hair match where the loser had to shave their head. And he lost.
Did he have like long hair?
He had not like super long, but it was like very like luxurious type of hair. So he was very like, that was his gimmick where it was always like, oh my gosh, the hair. So then when he had this hair match and he lost, he shaved it, but he was like, all right, whatever, fine.
Could he like donate it at least?
I don't even know. Like, but this is the thing for those of you who don't watch wrestling, like these are the gimmicks that you get. So I can't explain it any other way than these things. When like Nick's on the next time we do a wrestling episode, he and I will talk to Sam and Sam will just be like, I have no idea what's going on right now. So
might as well try to explain cricket to me. It's the same thing.
It really is. I'm sorry, that sport's very difficult to understand.
Yeah, I don't get why I would just run back and forth and do suicides. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Sorry.
Suicides for the worst.
For the 3 people in the UK who listen to us, we really appreciate you, but we just do not understand cricket.
No, but again, I understand. Like a lot of you guys don't understand like our stuff, like why our country's in a dust bowl, but it's fine. It's cool.
Please send help. Thank you.
So Gino also, during his time as a wrestler, frequented local nightclubs where he proceeded to do drugs, and he fell into a different crowd of people that were kind of giving off the risque vibes. So, in 1986, he was in a storyline with his friend Chris Adams, who actually was his former tag team partner. And during the match, he threw Freebird cream on which is just a hair removal product, into his eyes, rendering him blind. So remembering to keep to kayfabe, which for those of you guys who haven't listened to our wrestling episodes, that's basically like it's pretend. So this is just the kayfabe is like what's real versus what's not. Chris was instructed by the company to keep up with this blindness story whenever he was out in public. So, like, whenever people saw him in public, he's like, oh my God, that jerk.
And he just walks into a wall for, like, the cherry on top.
So, it seemed after this whole time, Gino was acting a little off. His mom and his ex-wife said he was nervous, and he always kind of felt like someone was after him. He even went to one of the officials and said he saw someone while he was driving home one night. He got in his car, someone in the back seat of his car.
No, fuck that, I'm out.
He wasn't sure what their motive was, so he slammed on the brakes and the guy rolled out of the back of his car.
Was he on his meds?
See, this is the official was like...
How do you just roll out of a car? I mean...
That's, like... I know that, like, back then, like, in the 80s and even early 90s, like, it wasn't an automatic lock for all the doors. But still, you slam on the brakes and your first thing is like, oh, goodbye, Felicia, like, out the side. I don't know. So when he told the official this, he was kind of like, all right, I mean, like, we'll, keep an eye out. But he was worried because he was like, this guy's got to be stalking me, so I need to get a gun. No. And the official's like, I think you're going to be okay. Like, I think, because he's like, I really didn't know if he was, like, high or if he was, like, if he was just overtired, if, like, he thought he saw something. But, like, it's very weird.
Yeah, that's not normal.
Yes. So, a few days later, Gino was scheduled to perform in a house show and on a non-televised show at Dallas Sportatorium the following night, so 2 nights in a row.
It's like a cafegimatorium, but for sports?
Yeah, sportatorium.
Okay, cool. You play basketball, foosball, air hockey, all in one spot.
And then you can turn it into ice rink, and you could have some, like, it could be great.
Bring the kids for the batting cages on Thursdays.
Listen. So, unfortunately, he was a no-show to both of these house shows. So this prompted the WCCW management to contact him. His manager then contacted his mother, who said, I haven't heard from him.
Oh, my God, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
scary.
Then his neighbor noticed his
smell.
car was... No. We're off the smells.
Oh, thank God.
We're off the smells for right now.
For right now.
So his car was parked kind of oddly in his garage, almost like maybe he had come home, he was intoxicated, so it kind of was like...
He can't even park his car! What are we gonna do?
Well, his neighbor was a friend of his, so when she hadn't really seen him, she kind of looked outside and was like, oh, his car's here. Maybe he came back a little drunk and whatever.
Yeah.
So, February 4th, 1986, 2 WCCW officials went to his condo because they said, listen, we haven't heard from him, so let's see if we can just kind of pop in.
He doesn't have friends? What about the neighbor who's worried about his car? They can't go check?
I agree.
This is weird.
She did go check, but she kind of, like, poked around and was like, there's nobody answering the door.
Why wouldn't we call for a wellness check? Why are people from the wrestling... Is this that McMahon dude trying not to get the...
No, this isn't his doing.
Okay.
But it is something like that where I don't know if it was a matter of they were like, we don't know if something is wrong yet or like what. But then they saw his car and nobody's answering the door. So one of them managed to climb the fence and kind of do like a peek in of like, what the hell is going on?
No, we're trespassing.
Then, yes. Then they saw from one of the little like shades was a little bit open. They saw there was a body on the floor, but wasn't moving. So they immediately called police after that.
Oh my God.
Okay. So several police officers went to his condo. They broke in and they found his decomposing corpse.
Oh my God, there was
Because he had
definitely a
been
smell,
dead.
Jen. There was definitely
Yeah,
a smell.
but it wasn't. I didn't say that's what drew them there like the last time.
Yeah, no,
the last time that's what
understand, but
happened.
there definitely had to be a smell.
So he had been dead for 3 to 4 days.
Ew, was the air
In a f-
conditioning on? Where did he live? Texas. Ew.
It was I think they were in I think at that point they were in Texas. But originally it was ruled a homicide.
Okay.
But after autopsy results came in, his death was ruled an overdose due to the amount of cocaine in his system.
Oh.
There was a gun at the scene,
Okay.
but it was not clear where he got this gun because it wasn't his.
Okay.
There was also no cocaine found at the scene.
But he parked his car crooked, so he could have had the cocaine somewhere else.
Right,
Drove
but
home and then it hit.
But if you
How
were a
long-
really big coke addict, right, and you're just like kind of whatever, wouldn't there be some? Right?
Unless he took it to the party, partied hardy, left it there, came home, parked his car weird, and then the OD happened. But like, how fast does an OD hit?
That's the thing. That's like,
Is it like when you
because you're right,
you're
maybe
drinking
that
at
could
the
have been the
bar
deal.
and you don't feel it until you stand up, and then you're like, oh fuck, I'm drunk. Like, is it like that? I've never had cocaine.
know.
I don't know.
I don't.
That's not. I haven't fucked with that. I'm kind of okay. I don't want to.
Gino was abusing drugs and alcohol. Many knew about that. So even one of the, because even one of the managers encouraged him, you got to get clean. So they were like, okay, so the cocaine in his system, fine. It's not a homicide. Okay. Then this weird thing happened. So the funeral was handled by John Royal, who is a reputable drug dealer and trafficker in the area. He served 30 years in prison prior.
This dude doesn't have friends?
Well, this is who Gino is supposed to be friends with.
Okay.
However, the family was like, I've never heard of this guy. And they were very uncomfortable that this guy was like, let me take care of the funeral. Like, it was just very
Yeah, I
weird.
don't like it either.
He came and he spoke to his mother regarding the funeral. Because, again, mom and her daughter are mourning. And he comes in and he's like, hey, you know, I'm going to do this for Gino. I knew Gino. He and I were friends, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I've never heard of this guy before. And then she said she felt scared and that this person had no remorse, no emotion, no reaction whatsoever. He had said Gino owed him money. The funeral, and like, he was like, I'll take, so but this is why also it's weird because mom got a look at this guy and was like, I don't feel comfortable with this guy. And then he says, oh, Gino owed me money. Why would you pay for his funeral?
Yeah, that's why I put up my hand. Like, why? Why would that happen? Like, that does not make sense. The math ain't math in here. He owes me
No.
money, so let me lay out more money for this fucker. Like,
Exactly.
no.
And
I
this
don't
was
see
not a
that
cheap
happening.
funeral. The funeral was super expensive. He had a platinum casket. And
Why?
there was tons of champagne
Well,
that they
that's
just
good.
kept toasting to Gino. John Royal gave the eulogy, who many were like, who the hell is this guy? Like, he got up to do the eulogy and everyone was kind of like, do you even know him? And he gave a eulogy about, you know, how his wrestling persona was the bad guy, but he was really a good guy. Meanwhile, everyone's just like, who the fuck are you? Like, where did you come from? So it was just very weird.
Yeah.
So there's also now some skepticism along with the death. The death was ruled an overdose. However, his family and some others believe he was murdered in a drug-related incident. And here's why. Gino had 5 times the amount of cocaine in his system to cause fatality. And cocaine was also in his stomach.
Who eats cocaine? Is that like a
Right,
new
that's-
thing?
I don't think it's a thing.
Can you
It's
turn
not
them
like
into
weed
gummies
brownies,
like weed?
you know?
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. It's not like weed brownies. You have to like, it. The deadbolt on the door was not locked, and Gino made a habit because he was paranoid of constantly locking that thing.
Okay.
And he even mentioned to friends that he felt like his life was in danger. A couple of times he'd like look out the window and kind of just to be sure he's not being followed. So one person said in an interview, his name is Michael Hayes, "I have a real hard time believing that Gino OD'd. He was most definitely hanging with the wrong people and either ran his mouth too much or knew too much or all of the above."
That makes more sense.
People agree Gino was involved with very heavy people, suggesting perhaps he got in too deep, maybe saw something he wasn't supposed to see, whatever it is. So Gino's ex-wife and mother even explored the possibility that he had faked his death because in the past he had talked about doing so, and because the autopsy had a lot of errors. For instance, his ethnicity.
There was a body.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a body. How do you fake your death if
Right.
there was an actual body? Like, was the body
But-
decomposed enough that you couldn't see, like, the face?
I assume because it was warm. I don't know if it was a matter of they couldn't see the face or whatever, but his ethnicity was wrong in the paper. And also physically, there were things that were wrong. For instance, the report said he was uncircumcised. In fact, in reality, he was circumcised. So why are we doing things the wrong way? Yes.
Oh, my,
So-
that's like a biggin. That's a biggin. Like, how did you not, like,
Yeah.
Can your
And also,
dick shrivel
his family
up?
never saw the body because the funeral was closed casket.
No.
Because of the decomposed state of it. So they thought, okay, what if there's this guy, maybe not he faked it, but what's happening? It's very weird. Now, like, the office was like, oh, maybe we made like we pressed the wrong button or like whatever. That's a big physical thing to be like.
Didn't he have, like, tattoos? He was a wrestler. Did he have, like, tattoos and shit to go off of?
I don't think he did.
Oh.
He wasn't one of the guys who had.
Oh, he was
lot
like
of
a pretty
tattoos,
boy.
But yes. So,
Okay.
but it was just very weird.
That's weird.
His former in-ring bodyguard, Nicola Roberts, suggested he had ties with the mob, he owed the wrong people money, and he was gambling. He also said, quote, with the amount of cocaine that was in his autopsy, there was no way someone could ingest that amount unless you're just eating it by the spoonfuls, which is how it ended up in his stomach. But why would you do that? Like, that's not the way you're supposed. I mean,
Would
again,
you even
I've
get
never
high
done
off of it. Like, is it a high?
That's one.
Like, I don't.
I don't.
get it.
I don't think that's like, you know how like again that people put weed in gummies and stuff. I don't think cocaine is that thing where you can just eat it, and I think it has to go
Dear listeners,
through.
if you do cocaine,
I mean, I don't know. You're right.
anonymously email me and let me know.
It's fine. We're not going to judge.
I don't
it's not
care.
For me.
It's not. Yeah, that's.
It's not for me,
Dude, I will smoke a blunt. I will rip a vape. I will eat all of the gummies with you. Cocaine is just not my thing.
No.
However, I need to know now. So if you could just fill me in, just
I
send us
agree.
an email, deathbeforebooze@gmail.com, and let us know because we have no clue and we want a clue. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Continue on with your story.
They also mentioned that in the apartment, police found a pack of cigarettes, which Gino didn't smoke, and he would never allow smoking in his house.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Jeannie Clark, who was a WWE manager, she's describing Gino's mental health before his death, and she said he was definitely unstable. There was one night where she was the neighbor, like she was the one who was the neighbor. He had fallen into a paranoid state following a night of cocaine use. He had a sugar bowl filled with cocaine.
Oh, so maybe
Okay,
he
so what
was
you would-
eating it.
maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you eat it. But
The more we talk about
anyway.
cocaine, all I think about is that scene from Horrible Bosses with Charlie Day, where he's like, "Look how fast I'm going! I'm the fastest ever! Oh my god, I can go so fast!" Blah, 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 blah. And he's like picking the dirt out of the coke. Oh my god!
Yeah. He turned on the water as she was there. He did coke in front of her. He turned on the water and it was overflowing the sink. Like it kept overflowing. Then she's like, "What the hell?" So she went over to shut the sink off, and then he came behind her and he had a gun in his hand. She was terrified, but he said, "Listen, I just want you to be quiet because I think the water is going to mask the sound."
Of what?
So he thinks he's being listened to. And then he kept going to the window, looking
what is so
out.
important that he has to say?
I think it's just at this point he was just paranoid in general and was like, "All right, who's watching me?"
Oh god.
He was apologetic to her after this, and she just said, he was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, scare you, whatever." And she's like, "I'm just worried about him because he was doing the drugs continuously, but also he just turned into this like paranoid human." So another person in the WWE called Brutus Beefcake, we did mention him before, he rejected it and said, well, it wasn't murder. He had a serious drug problem. Now, again, Brutus was also into drugs, and he was also the one that David Von Erich, when his death happened, he claimed it was an overdose, which we know it was not, because it was a medical issue. So he's just like, he clearly had a problem, and it's like, well, all right, you also have a problem.
Insert your fucking nose into this. No one asked you, beefcake.
No, exactly.
Stay in your fucking lane.
So I watched the Dark Side of the Ring docuseries, and the documentary crew did end up speaking to John Royal, who is the guy who paid.
The drug dude.
He said Gino was with him until 1 a.m. the night of the death. He was drinking, and he left with airline stewardess, and that was the last time he saw him. To him, there was no foul play. People claimed he gave Gino the drugs that killed him because he'd gone on trial for drugs. He's like, I don't know. I don't know any of that. I didn't, but that's not the case. Another drug trafficker that he was connected to, that Gino was connected to, did come forward 30 years later to set the record straight.
How nice of you.
After this interview, I'm a little skeptical, so this is kind of a little conspiracy with me too. But he said he was good friends with him. He ran in the same circle with people who bought drugs and give people a certain amount to sell.
Yeah.
And people knew Gino was involved in that. So he's making money off of it, whatever. He says he believes Gino's drug use caused his death. His paranoia got to him. He drank too much. He did too many drugs. Okay. The problem I have and why I think that this is such a mysterious conspiracy is the autopsy results. And again, I don't know about cocaine, but I'm pretty sure you don't eat it to get high. So the fact that he had 5 times the lethal limit, and like there's cigarettes in his house, and there's all like, there's something not right. Now at this stage, his mother was put to, like, she was like, okay, that whole the interview with that random drug trafficker that the documentary crew got, she felt like at peace with that. I don't know if he faked his death, but I definitely think that there's something fishy here. I just think that this is a conspiracy that I'm just never... I don't think that it was just a overdose. If that's, that's my conspiracy. That's my theory.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think. There's a lot of weird shit there.
There's a lot of weird shit.
Yeah. I definitely don't think he faked his death, because where do you just get a dead body that looks like yours? But then again, if there's...
I agree.
Like, that one's a little... Like, there was a body. That's why I'm like...
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, it could honestly have just been like a paperwork fuck up at the coroner's office.
True.
And that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. But, like, the eating of the cocaine, like, I don't think it was just an overdose. I think that's more the conspiracy that I believe it's...
I agree.
Yeah.
People do still believe to this day that he faked his own death to start a whole brand new... But I also agree with you. I don't think that's the case here. I think it's more he was murdered, and everyone just kind of went, oh, well, he was a big druggie anyway, so who gives a shit?
And I think
Like,
Beefcake is involved, allegedly. That's my alleged thought process, allegedly.
well,
Is
he
Beefcake
also
still a
had,
thing?
he actually ended up getting murdered as well, so he'll be another topic for
so
discussion.
the estate of Beefcake, I allegedly think that he could allegedly
The
have been
estate-
allegedly involved.
The estate of Beefcake.
I'm just saying.
I just like it. I just like it.
Yeah.
I just like how you said
Okay,
it. The
wow.
estate of
So
Beefcake.
that's left me kind of reeling. But wait till I tell you my story.
Oh, I'm excited because you always have the best conspiracies.
Oh my god. This one, this one. And pay attention. Let's see. So we're going to picture it. An abandoned military base. Okay.
Okay.
Strange experiments, whispers of mind control, time travel, and monsters.
Huh.
What does that make you think of?
Area 51.
Close, but not really. So we are talking about the Montauk Project.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Okay. So this is one of the most outrageous government conspiracy theories out there. And now
Okay.
let's
I'm ready.
let's
I'm ready.
run through quick background again. So, and I do want to note here, I am not a military human. I don't know what half the words I'm about to say truly mean or how they like intertwine in America's history or military like I got no fucking clue. I went on Wikipedia and prayed I could make sense of this. Okay. So you can ask questions.
Sure. Okay.
I'm going to make up
You're not-
bullshit. I'm going to
okay.
tell you unicorns and glitter and a troll came, wiped their ass, and that's how we got here. Okay. So just
Got it.
so we're on the same page. So, the Montauk Air Force Station was a U.S. military base that was opened in 1942 on Montauk Point, on the eastern tip of Long Island, New York. During World War II, it was believed that German U-boats were threatening the East Coast, and that through Montauk, they could probably use that as like an invasion point. So, that's why they settled, we're going to put this fort here. Then, once that threat was over, during the Cold War, the base was upgraded and used as a radar station, so they'd be able to watch the skies for a Soviet air attack. So now that ended in 1957 when the Soviet bombers could fly way higher than, like, ground artillery could hit them. Like, they couldn't target them. It's not going to work. So, most of the radar-based surveillance was still operational and growing. Because now it's an Air Force base. It's not just like a military base. It's an Air Force base. And they were doing this well into the 60s. And then NORAD moved into part of the facility. So, as it was open, like, they'd have this side open, then they'd close it. They'd have this side open, and then they'd close it. They'd revamp a little bit. They'd move things around. Different government agencies were coming in and out. So, it was fully decommissioned in 1981. It is now owned by the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historical Preservation as Camp Hero State Park. And it's named after some guy who did a lot of things. I don't know. So now throughout the almost 40 years that this base was open, like I said, different parts were open, being used at different times. Things were closed off. Some of it was high security. Some of it was civilian base, like all these different things. And due to the confidential nature of what was going on, civilians always wondered what else could be happening at the base. Mm-hmm. And once it was decommissioned, locals reported strange activity. So military presence, but I mean, duh, it was a military base, so why wouldn't they go and check in every so often? There would be odd electrical interferences around the base, even after its closure. And then a story went rampant about multiple underground labs at the base. And this creates the perfect backdrop for conspiracy theories, which is the Montauk Project. Now, the theories and conspiracy seem to have started with Preston Nichols and Al Bielek, Bielek. Bielek. They met on the UFO paranormal conference circuit, and both claim to have recovered repressed memories of their own involvement in the Montauk Project. And they kind of realized their quote-unquote memories overlapped quite a bit while at these conferences, and they'd be chit-chatting and stuff. So Alfred Al Bielek was an electronics engineer, and we're going to cover his bullshit a little bit later. So that's all I'm going to tell you for now about him. But Preston Nichols was born May 24th in 1964 in Long Island. He was an electrical engineer as well, and he says that he was recruited to work on the Montauk Project, and when he was done, they did some sort of mind control shit so that he, like, forgot what he had done, but then they would bring him back periodically, like, they would abduct him, bring him back, and make him continue his participation against his will.
And then every time he'd leave, do the Men in Black thing?
Maybe. I think again? So. That's kind of what... My interpretation of what I read, that's kind of how I'm understanding this.
Okay.
Then he also claimed to have had degrees in parapsychology, psychology, and then electrical engineering, because, you know, they all go together so seamlessly.
I mean...
As you do. He has written a series of books called The Montauk Project, Experiments in Time. They started in 1992, along with Vincent Barabek. And Barabek writes under a pen name Peter Moon. So, sci-fi the shit out of this. In the series, they claim Montauk was a continuation of the Philadelphia experiment in 1943. And aren't you guys just so lucky? Because I'm about to give you 2 conspiracies in one segment. So, you're welcome. So, what is the Philadelphia experiment? This is a famous naval conspiracy theory that claims in 1943, the U.S. Navy conducted a secret test at the Philadelphia Navy shipyard. So they wanted to make a destroyer escort USS Eldridge invisible to radar. So they're experimenting on this. And witnesses claim that the ship didn't just disappear from the radar, but it physically vanished. Then there are other witnesses who say it teleported to Norfolk, Virginia, and then within minutes reappeared in Philadelphia. So people in Philadelphia are like, yo, this shit disappeared, right? And then people in Norfolk, Virginia are like, yo, there's a fucking ship here that's not supposed to be here. And then a couple minutes later, the people in Virginia are like, yo, where the fuck did the ship go? And the people in Philadelphia are like, yo, dude, the ship is back. Just like that. Like, that's how... I found the transcript online. It was fucking amazing. This is what happened.
So it's a teleportation device. Is that what they...
Somehow they fucked up, and instead of just making it invisible to radar, they teleported it.
They teleported it. Okay. All right.
Okay, so according to legend, when the ship returned to Philadelphia, some of the crew had vanished completely. Some of the crew went completely insane. And then what was left of the crew had somehow fused into the steel hull of the ship itself.
I'm sorry. This is not Dead Man's Chest with Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's what I thought.
Like, we do not fuse.
Brain, like, coming out of the wall, like, what? And then going back in the wall and falling asleep. That's exactly what I thought.
No, you don't. No. You can't. Okay. All right.
This is why it's called a conspiracy theory, Jen.
Yeah, but I get it. But it's just. But that's.
Well, here's the part that you're really going to be shocked about. Okay, are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
The Navy has always denied the story.
Oh my gosh.
They call it a misunderstanding of routine radar and degaussing experiments.
Yeah. The government's always honest with us. I mean, why would they not be? Why would they not be?
Let's get back to the Montauk Project. So according to the book series, the alleged goal of the Montauk Project was to develop psychological warfare, aka mind control. They wanted to contact the aliens. They wanted to somehow get time travel going. And one day on the time travel thing, I really want to cover Project Pegasus, but it's going to be a couple episodes. So I got to figure that one out. Anyway. And then they also just wanted to do interdimensional technology in general. Okay, so I know that kind of does the aliens and the time travel, but they wanted to like branch off. They wanted everything to do with that. So, okay. Experiment time. So the first one we're going to talk about is mind control. Think MK Ultra type shit. So there were experiments on soldiers and allegedly, I mean, all this is alleged, but kidnapped children. Now, the kids that they kidnapped were called the Montauk boys, and they were usually runaways or orphans. And the goal of this was to be able to erase memories, implant thoughts and memories, and create sleeper agents.
Okay. So they're... Okay.
Yeah. So the victims, these Montauk boys, were supposedly subjected to extreme psychological conditioning, hypnosis, and electromagnetic radiation. And this was all designed to break down their personalities. So the end result would be that you would have programmable individuals that you could control like human robots.
I mean, I get it, but I also don't like it and don't get it. But I'm on board.
There's a lot happening here.
I know what's going on, but I'm also like, the fuck is happening here? Okay.
There are some reports that go even further that say that the scientists tried to push psychic children to develop their telepathy and remote viewing, training them like psychic spies.
Okay, so
So this is where the infamous Montauk chair comes in, which is said to be a reverse... There's this special chair, and it's reverse engineered from alien technology. It was developed to amplify the psychic abilities and allow the subject's thoughts to be broadcasted or to influence others or even to manifest physically.
So when you sit in the chair, it just manifests.
So what they would do is they would take one of these kids, a very strong psychically led child, and they'd put them in the chair. And then they would take another child who wasn't as good at the whole psychic bit and somehow hook them up to the chair too. And like the not so psychic kid's energy would also help to amplify the even stronger psychic kid's energy as like a source. And then the kid with the really good psychic ability would have even better mind control of all this shit.
So I'm picturing a chair.
It's a chair, yeah.
And the kid's sitting in the chair. And then the other, like, is there a chair? There's no chair. There's no second chair.
I don't fucking get it. So, this is what I said. You can't ask questions. I don't understand these things.
All right, I'm sorry. I was going to say, because then there's...
I'm picturing...
Or it's like you didn't lose at musical chairs, and you, like, kind of bump the... You know, like, there's two people sitting in the musical chair at the same time. And you're like, oh, I don't know, maybe that's it.
So when I was writing
that's
these
all
notes, this is what came to my mind.
Okay.
Follow me if you can. I'm picturing a sci-fi version of the Game of Thrones chair.
Yes.
So instead of like knives and shit, I'm picturing like electrodes and conduit and that big ball
like
that you touch and then your hair goes up and you know science.
Yes.
Somehow those are all incorporated. And then the poor child who was not as psychically inclined is sitting in a chair like in Hocus Pocus when they're sucking out the soul of the little child.
Oh.
Like that's... And somehow the two chairs are combined to create the mega chair.
They're back to back so that when you pull the lever cronk, it like works?
Could be. I don't really understand. I am not a sci-fi human. You know what? If somebody out there understands this better than us, which I'm sure anybody out there could...
I mean,
please let me know. Right after you email me about the cocaine usage, start another email and email me about the Montauk chair and let me know what you think, okay? Or just let me know on social media. Let's all talk about it. Let's have a little chat, a little quilting circle. Okay. So I'm done with that for now. We are going to get back to it. Don't you worry. So now let's talk about time travel and portals, because this was a big deal too. We needed to be able to time travel. We needed some portals. So Nichols and Belek, they allege that by combining the Montauk chair with the advanced radar and electromagnetic technology at the base, because remember the Cold War, this is what we were doing. Scientists may have accidentally sort of allegedly learned how to bend space and time, and essentially they developed machines that could open portals, rips in reality, that acted as tunnels to other times in history. Whether it be forward or backwards. Yes. Doctor Strange. Yes, Doctor Strange. Okay.
Yes.
So, Al Belek claimed that he visited the year 2137 and there were flooded coastlines. It was post-apocalyptic Earth. Very terrible. And then he went to 2749 and society was completely run by artificial intelligence.
I mean, if that happens, I wouldn't be surprised. Is like,
I
obviously we'd be dead by then, but like I wouldn't be surprised.
They also said these rips in these tunnels, these rips in reality could move you to different locations, like instant teleportation, or even other dimensions, where whistleblowers claim that some portals open to completely alien worlds, and not all the subjects who went returned, and those who did were completely traumatized or physically altered. So like some of these people coming back from the alien worlds had aged decades within seconds.
Okay. But time moved quickly in the other dimensions.
Yes. So them going through these tunnels aged them.
Okay. No,
like you really have to
I'm paying attention. I really am.
But doesn't it kind of sound like I'm more talking about like Firefly or Star Trek than I am like a conspiracy theory? Like
it's like a like the Umbrella Academy is like like something like that, like because you said pay attention. There's just a lot of stuff, and I'm like, this sounds similar to.
Okay, well, this next part is where you're gonna be like, are you fucking kidding me? Or I think you will, because this is where I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So the climax of the conspiracy for the Montauk Project starts with a kid named Duncan Cameron. Now, I know I've said this multiple times already, but you really got to stay with me on this one.
Okay.
We're going to go back to our buddy Al.
Okay.
Because
I got my sticky notes.
We're back to Al. Okay, this is where we're going to go through his background. So Al claims that he had been a sailor on the USS Eldridge during the 1943 Philadelphia Project. And according to Al, he and his brother, Duncan Cameron, who is like a big name in this because, at the time, Al was named Edward Cameron when he was on the USS Eldridge. They were thrown through a wormhole. And they were some of the people who just didn't reappear. And they ended up decades in the future. So, and somehow, Al, after the Philadelphia experiment, continued working on secret projects and eventually landed in Montauk. But Duncan also landed in Montauk. And this is the part that really doesn't make sense to me, because if Al had this whole new name, how did he get a new name if he's decades older, yet Duncan is a kid who's being used for the psychic side of it?
And where did he go? I know he went decades ahead, right? But he ends up with the same Duncan.
Yeah.
So where did you go for that time?
And why are you now an adult with an electrical engineering degree in 1960, 1980, whatever it is, but your brother Duncan is still a kid who has been somehow taken into the Montauk Project as one of the psychic test subjects?
Yeah,
it's not, the math ain't mathing, kids. The math ain't mathing.
Yeah,
but anyway.
Yeah, Yeah.
Duncan landed in the Montauk Project as well as one of the main psychic kids. And according to Nichols, Duncan had extremely powerful psychic and telepathic abilities that were central to these experiments. So now Duncan was, like I said, one of the psychics that was placed. He was one of the lucky ones placed in the Montauk chair, not the Hocus Pocus chair where your soul gets sucked. And he could project images, control thoughts, and even open time portals. So some say in 1983, the scientist told Duncan to let loose. Like, just use his imagination. Use his subconscious while in the chair and just go for it. So while he's letting loose, he supposedly creates a massive, destructive monster, often described as a Bigfoot-like creature or a shadow beast that wreaked havoc on the base. And scientists couldn't stop the base until they shut down the entire Montauk Project in 1983, which is right around when it was all decommissioned.
So there's a monster still running around there?
Oh, in 2008, a strange creature washed up on the beach at Montauk. It was hairless, bloated, with beak-like teeth. Some say it could be a raccoon in a stage of decom, but conspiracy theorists claimed it was a genetic experiment escaped from the Montauk labs, but could also have been either the Bigfoot-like creature that came out of the Montauk Project or one of its offspring.
So it's still running around, and it's just making babies out of nothing?
Apparently.
Is that what we're going to...
That's what we're going
okay.
with.
I mean, that's going where we're going with that. Okay. All right. Okay.
So is there support for this conspiracy? There have been no declassified documents or physical proof of the experiments, but believers are basically like, of course there's no evidence. They erased it all.
I mean, yeah, I get that. But also... Okay.
So,
but also, didn't the Navy just say no? Everything's fine. So isn't it possible that people could be like, no, everything was fine, everything was closed?
I mean, it's the government.
Yeah, they can make.
For all we know, some of this shit could be in boxes in Mar-a-Lago right now.
I mean, along with the Epstein files,
right next. They're right there. I mean, I know E&M are nowhere near each other, but for Trump, they probably are.
You know what? When you're running in a hurry, you just throw
grab
everything
whatever
in the bag.
You can, yeah.
So, like,
now, after hearing all of this, I have to ask you, does this remind you of anything specifically?
I mean, there's a lot of different things that it reminds me of. Like, there is the whole... I mean, there's, like I said, like, there's the Umbrella Academy with the wormhole thing and aging and all that kind of stuff. The monster thing, it's gotta be like, it's kind of like a Godzilla type of thing, but like, but I don't know. Nothing shouts out like one in particular.
So this conspiracy is the main influence and inspiration for the extremely popular Netflix series Stranger Things.
Oh, there it is. Yep,
and
yep.
a very fun fact, the show was originally entitled Montauk and was supposed to be set in Long Island.
That's funny.
And that is the Montauk Project conspiracy.
I love that. I love that because now that you said it, I'm like, oh,
doesn't it all? As I was researching it, and then all of a sudden I'm researching it, and these pictures of 11 are coming up, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on here? And then
I was like, watched all
God.
of the seasons, but it is like, yeah, there's the monster, there's the psychic, there's this, there's the kids that are in the
there's
underground.
the rip in the wall, there's the yes.
Oh my God, that's insane. Oh, I mean, that's great. I like that. They stayed true to the subject matter.
They really did. All right, well, thank you for joining us for another fun-filled adventure over here at Death Before Booze. Make sure you're following us on all of our social medias. Oh, wait, what did we learn? What did we learn? I learned the government hides a lot
I
of shit because some of this I think might
learned
kind of be true.
a lot of things. And one of them is that airplanes that originally were planning to just make invisible, they just killed a whole bunch of people.
It was a boat, not an
Bermuda
airplane.
Triangle happened. The Bermuda Triangle happened. People disappeared. People are like Pirates of the Caribbean in the wall. Like,
Yeah.
that I got stuck on because when you said and they became part of the ship.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just pictured that and I was
Picture
like,
a porthole with just a fucking arm hanging out of it, but it's like in the
It's just weird.
so fucking weird.
I mean, there's a lot of, like, you're right. The government hides a lot of things, and they say, no, it's a misunderstanding. See, that's how it is. Misunderstanding.
Always a misunderstanding. Yeah, obviously we are just not smart enough as civilians to understand the military. And I get it, because I have no idea what I talked about today at all.
Honestly, like, as you were going, I'm like, I'm paying attention, but nothing is sticking.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's because I'm still feeling the effects of freaking vertigo, or if it's a matter of nothing stuck.
Didn't some of this feel like they just played Mad Libs and said, let's throw all this together?
Yes, that's a perfect example.
Like,
of what
that's
that
what
was.
a lot of this felt like to me as I was researching
Give us an
it.
adjective.
And then, but like I
Chair.
said,
or give us a noun, a chair. Give us an adjective.
the second I started seeing pictures of 11, I was like, oh shit, now it all does kind of come.
That makes a
when
lot.
you put it into that like context, you're like, oh, now I kind of understand what I was talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
I do get that.
Let me get back to what I was saying. So, thanks for joining us. Make sure you're following us on the socials, Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you rate, review, subscribe, specifically on Apple and Spotify. That really helps us out. YouTube, rate us, click the bell, do the whole 9. If you would like to join our Patreon because you're all caught up and you just want more of this crazy nonsense that we spew every week, go to our website, deathbeforebooze.com, and click on Patreon. You can join. Subscriptions start at $5 a month, but we totally understand that, like, life is hard.
Everything's dust.
Everything is dust.
As
so
Sam
that's
says.
my favorite thing right now. Everything is dust. So just sharing our stuff on social media and listening, tell your friends. That is the best support that you guys could give us, and we really appreciate it. If you want to buy some merch, go to our website, again, deathbeforebooze.com. Click merch. While you're over there, you can check out all of our pictures from today, all of our sources from today. And I'm sure there's something else I'm supposed to say, but I don't remember. So I love you guys so much, and we'll see you next week.
Love you guys. Stay spooky.
Bye.
Bye.